On Outback Truckers, Mark Cromwell...
We run about 2 hours behind.
...and a team of heavyweight champions drag a $1 million shed through the eye of a needle. Fuel trucker Sludge has pressure problems.
You can hear this trailer here sucking air.
Blowing his cool on a 1,000-kilometre drag. And for livestock trucker Brenton Holmes, moving 20,000 cattle in 3 days
6 trucks in front of me lined up
is a shipload of pressure.
Hey! I'll drag you into that cab and block my ass with you.
When it comes to moving gigantic loads, Mark Cromwell from Robin Johnson Engineering knows his stuff.
He'll fit through there.
Mark and his team have made a name for themselves, hauling electrical switch rooms.
Oh, they're going to have fun landing that building.
Massive sheds full of delicate circuitry into the middle of cities and the middle of nowhere. But now Mark is facing the biggest challenge of his career.
This is just some big equipment. It's just a building that's been built bigger than most of the roads that we're going to be travelling on.
At 31 metres long, 7.5 metres wide, and twice the weight of the space shuttle, this is the mother of all switch rooms.
The building itself is 181 tonne, and the kit inside, I don't even know the price tag, but I ran out of zeros and the calculator stopped. This is the biggest thing that's ever crossed from this side of town to the other side of town.
Getting through town is just the start of this journey. From Adelaide, Mark and his team will follow a winding series of roads to the town of Orange, 1,500 kilometres away. The town's 40,000 residents need the switch room to upgrade their entire electricity supply. The key to success is riding on these 136 wheels.
This isn't one trailer. This is modulated out of lots of different trailers.
But this trailer has an Achilles heel.
You've got lots and lots of these hydraulic lines, so what happens if one of these goes, all of a sudden she starts dumping out fluid, the front of the trailer is just going to start dropping down, or if it's back there, she's going to start sagging to one side.
Adding to the stress, this load can't budge an inch, literally.
So what we've got to make sure is we don't flex the base frame or the building, because if we flex that, we flex the switch gear. And the tolerance given by the manufacturer is we're only allowed to flex 3 millimetres.
Midnight. And 2 years of planning is about to be put to the test. A task this demanding calls for a crack team. Mark has gathered 12 of the best.
We need some dishwashing detergent or something. One of our tyres. Just needs a bit of air.
In the world of heavy haulage, Mark and Carl are competitors. But for this epic challenge, the two are joining forces.
Problems are going to be the width at the height it is, the width at the base and the top.
Time to get this monster shed on the road.
10 minutes after you're supposed to have left. Let's go.
Mark. Just getting out the gate. Stage 1. Show's about to start.
You all right, Carl? Yeah.
In the hottest seat of the convoy, Lee Morgan.
Lee Morgan, who's in the front truck, he's going to have a lot going on. He'll have 2 radios in there. And the trouble is, with all the flashy lights, you've got police lights, pilot lights, you get blinded, so really you're just driving blind.
Driving in the dark is far from ideal, but it's the only way to avoid city traffic. Mark will be Lee's eyes, along with 2 other pilots.
The building is wider than the road, so you need someone either walking or sitting in that passenger seat to get a line down the side.
Ahead, a minefield of hazards. These truckers will need to be at the top of their game to deliver this enormous, fragile, and expensive load in working order.
He's going to go down.
Paul Andrews, aka Sludge, is a petrol head in every sense.
I'm scared I'm gonna die. I might go bang.
He loves his truck, the Phantom.
Come on, baby.
He hauls fuel for a living.
Ooh.
And when he's not working,
Hello, my dick.
he still rides the hell out of it.
I just want to go playing. That was all right. I like to race everywhere. Get out of bed and start racing.
Today, Sludge has half a dozen fuel drops to make, including a rush job to a new customer running urgently low on petrol.
How much have you got on?
5,000.
That's good. Doesn't run out of bloody fuel.
Yeah, right, eh?
From Perth, Sludge is heading 800 kilometres north into the harsh outback around Murchison Settlement. It's a lot of work for one man in one day. Adding to his load, 3 tanker trailers instead of his normal 2.
We've got about 76, 78,000 litres on board. We've got petrol and diesel.
To get the job done, he'll need every last drop.
We've got about 5 or 6 places up there we've got to deliver to, so we'll have a bit of pressure on.
Sludge's customers rely on his fuel to run their homes.
Thank you very much.
Their businesses,
This is the post office, the general store. You've got to try and look after them.
their vehicles.
No fuel, no power, no nothing.
Customer number 1. And Sludge is feeling the love.
I just gone into the shed to get the key now, and here's the DVD. Paul, thanks, Kate. That's quite nice.
He can't get too mushy. Sludge has a serious job to do.
4 tanks of boom. It's a great way to spend your day. Wondering if you're going to end up in the sky in the stars.
But there's not much boom flowing right now.
Where the hell's that not going? That's all on. Hose is right. It's not letting the fuel come out of the trailer.
With other jobs to get to, including a customer who's run dry, he needs to pump and go. Out here, no fuel means no electricity, no refrigeration, no communication, no life. With a constantly moving top-heavy load and narrow bush tracks, carting cattle is one of the most dangerous types of trucking.
You can roll them over really easy.
Schmidt's livestock haulage have been moving beasts through the bush for 36 years. But now boss Liz Schmidt and her team are facing an epic operation.
The logistics of it is really huge. Lots of trucks, lots of people, lots of cows.
Massive process.
Schmidts need to move 20,000 cattle onto 2 ships in only 3 days.
It's not cornflakes. You don't just load them and go. You have to take care of them.
The Schmidt truckers are hauling cattle from yards in Charters Towers and Woodstock to the port of Townsville. From the furthest yard, it's 140 kilometres. To fill 2 ships, it'll take 125 trips. More than 20,000 kilometres. Half the distance around the planet.
Until the last base goes on, we can't rest.
Keeping the cattle and the trucks moving is 31-year-old Brenton Holmes' job. As the operations manager and a driver for Schmidt's, he's got his hands full.
As far as cattlemen go, they don't get a string of 20,000 head at a time. You started loading out there, or?
No, not yet.
The day's just started and Brenton's already playing catch-up. His trucks are bumper to bumper at the yard when they should be heading to port.
We're meant to start at 10:30 now.
At the port, the exporters are waiting.
They are live animals and we need all trucks to be on the go.
The boat's right to start loading and we're half an hour behind the plan.
If the ships are held up, they'll have to pay a fee to the port, costing thousands of dollars. But there's more than just money at stake.
It is a 36-year business. We've been doing this for a long time and we have a huge reputation to uphold.
With a truckload of expectation and $18 million worth of cattle waiting,
A lot of money. A lot of money.
Brenton can't lose any more time. 1 a.m.
Yeah, right on the edge of me. Slowly we're starting to make our way across the right now.
Mark Cromwell, Carl Andrews and a dozen others are crawling an electrical switch room worth millions to a town 1,500 kilometres away.
Yeah, mate, I'll just go straight over the top of that one.
There's no one on the back wheels, a straight edge.
Is that up there bad, mate? Starting to come down now. Yeah, everyone's on the black stuff.
With trucks and trailers, it weighs close to 300 tonnes, and it's longer than 2 tennis courts.
Touching there, you gorgeous.
Lee Morgan has the daunting task of steering the mega load.
How's that sign on the left there, Jake?
Bit over 200.
These truckers are liable for any damage to or by the switch room.
One way or another, if it's too tight, something's got to go.
Lee's point man is Carl Andrews.
30 k's an hour is our maximum speed. It's all full of gas insulated switchgear. Very expensive, very fragile.
The load is so heavy, it takes 2 trucks to move it.
Right, I'll take it forward, mate.
Oh, yeah, Brad.
In the back truck, Brad Culf. This is Brad's view for the next 9 days.
But it's pretty slow. The streets of Adelaide aren't designed to have a 300-tonne load go through it the size of an Olympic swimming pool.
This overpass is the team's first test.
Guess you got a very low bridge and a very high building.
If Mark's calculations are right, the switch room will fit under with millimetres to spare.
Yeah, Carl's going to lower the trailer and then we're going to have to watch it very carefully.
But danger from above is the least of their worries. At a remote cattle station in Western Australia, Sludge's fuel pump has seized up.
Where the hell's that lot going?
He's got 76,000 litres of fuel to offload. Right now, he can't fill a single cup. He thinks air in the hoses might be stopping the pump. Suddenly, a more urgent problem. Sludge has got a leak. It's coming from his catch tank. Every time Sludge clears air from his hoses, residual fuel gathers in the catch tank. It needs to be emptied. A flammable leak in bushfire country is a disaster waiting to happen. With the catch tank sorted, Sludge can clear the air from his hoses.
Right, there we go. Going again. It just had an air lock when I changed over from diesel to petrol. Beautiful. We're done here. One down. So they'll be happy.
Another 100 kilometres and he reaches his next customer. This job is 6,400 litres. It's a lot of diesel. But Sludge's pump is feeling its age.
Getting like me, slightly rooted.
Over its lifetime, it's pumped more than 50 million litres of fuel. But right now, it's so slow that all Sludge can do is wait. And wait some more.
Fixes a bit of boredom. Thank Christ for that. Onward and upward.
Sludge is now heading into dangerous country. Only months ago, a driver died out here.
You got to send the right people out here. You can't send town people out here. They just got no idea how harsh it is. It's probably 45, 50 degrees. He got bogged in a creek crossing and tried to walk back to a station. He died, oh God, 500 metres from his truck. Just crazy.
An alarm alerts Sludge to a serious problem.
We're dropping here. What's going on?
No air causes the brakes to lock on. Sludge couldn't have picked a worse place to break down. Operations manager for Schmidt's Livestock Transport, Brenton Holmes, is pushing hard to the port of Townsville.
There's just that slight bit of anxiety about it all. That's part and parcel of the job. If you're too relaxed about it, things will be missed.
A ship is waiting for its cattle. If its departure from port is delayed, there will be huge fees to pay. On Brenton's truck, 120 steers. It's just a tiny fraction of the mass exodus of beef Brenton is in charge of.
We've got 18 trucks lined up. You can see we've got nearly 20,000 head of cattle to go on 2 live export ships. So, yeah, we don't need anything to go wrong.
You can see going yeah.
In the truck ahead of Brenton, Ross Sanderson, originally from Lancashire. Ross is getting to port as fast as he can, but when carting cattle, push too hard and things can go horribly wrong.
Drive real gentle, so you're not shaking them around. You definitely can't do any emergency stops because you'll put a mast overhead and that's how you kill them, mate.
Close to the port, Ross pulls over to check his load.
Check them every so often just to make sure you haven't got one down.
A small steer has fallen over. It's in serious danger of being trampled.
So we just need to stand them up so they don't get squashed. Good one.
The other cows aren't helping. It's safe on all fours. Ross needs to keep moving to the waiting ship.
Well, we're nearly on the wharf now. We're just outside the wharf gate.
But there's a delay. 3 trucks are lined up in front of Ross.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a hold up. Just play the waiting game.
After 30 minutes, nothing's moved. By the time Brenton gets there, the traffic jam has grown.
6 trucks in front of me lined up, waiting to get in and unload. It makes me wonder if something's gone wrong. What's the drama? What's the hold-up?
Nearly half of Brenton's trucks are now stuck in gridlock, with 1,000 restless cattle inside. If this ship doesn't get loaded soon, other ships could get delayed, causing big waves at the port. In Adelaide, the 180-tonne switch room is stuck on a curb. The trailer needs to be lifted. Only 30 millimetres are needed, but it still requires a massive amount of hydraulic power.
That's what happens on these curbs with the legs. You've got to get them up at an angle, and we want to keep the thing as low as possible, so you're always going to have problems.
Over one hurdle.
Anyway, fun bit.
Yeah, good. You can get left now.
Ahead, an overpass. Its clearance, 6 metres. The height of the raised load, 6 metres.
This is squeezing time.
Just lower this upside again now. Hello, mate. We'll take it down to the bridge. Just level it up when we get there.
The trailer is lowered 30 millimetres, as low as it will go.
Pretty good there.
Including trucks and trailers, this rig is heavier than a jumbo jet.
Creep it up to it.
Any contact would inflict serious damage to the bridge and load.
Enough, mate. All of there. Will you take it forward a bit?
The team is on high alert for the sound of steel scraping on concrete. The margin for error suddenly gets worse.
Just keep it straight as you can for the moment.
The truck is heading up a rise, pushing the building closer to the bridge.
About 10 metres to go.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, centimetre perfect. She just got through by that much.
But for Lee, the next leg of the journey has even less room to move.
Trees, both sides of the road.
100-year-old trees line the route.
The next 5 kilometres, we'll have tree issues.
The weak dawn light is improving visibility. But there's no avoiding this forest.
Making matches out of trees.
And now the trees are striking back. A skid rail on the roof has ripped loose. It's meant to keep obstacles from catching on the top of the building. The switch room is exposed. Fuel trucker Sludge is hearing alarm bells.
It's a low air buzz that's just come in. The pressure's dropping right off, so we'll go and have a look and see what's going on.
A loss of air pressure can be a disaster for a road train. Without air, the brakes lock on.
It's dropped air. It's either done a booster or an airline. You can hear this trailer here sucking air. These brakes here are the hot ones. Oh.
The nearest help is 80 kilometres away. Sludge needs to fix it himself.
Oh. Ah, here we go, an airline. Stones hit it, rocks hit it, and it's come undone, and all the brakes on this trailer here are starting to come on.
To get the brakes to release, Sludge needs to reattach the air hose.
As it builds up here, then it starts pressurising the line again. This is where you don't want to be 6'6".
Somebody hasn't done their maintenance right, and it was me that did it. Oh, there we go.
I got all the air back up, so I'll just have a look and just check and make sure it's right. Yeah, no, you can't hear it leaking now. We got 2 farm runs before we get out of here tonight, which will be getting on late now. Alrighty, we're going down the road.
Sludge's next delivery is a brand new customer who has run out of fuel.
We've never been into this place, so it'll be interesting to see if we fit in here.
Making things harder, he's got 3 trailers instead of his standard 2.
Right. Coming in.
To manoeuvre his 37-metre rig, Sludge is using every inch of the driveway and his cab. Get stuck now, and untangling this giant metal snake will take time Sludge and his desperate customer don't have. In Townsville, the ship has stopped receiving cattle, backing up 6 of Brenton Holmes's trucks.
Makes me wonder if something's gone wrong, like what's the drama, what's the hold-up?
Frustratingly, no one can tell him what's happening, and there's nothing he can do about it.
I don't know what's going on. The cattle are locked up there for some reason.
Finally, after a 2-hour delay, Brenton's operation is moving again.
They must have had to do a deck change over on the ship, so... Go on!
He needs to get 20,000 head of cattle on board in less than 72 hours.
Until the last beast goes on, we can't rest. We've got to keep our wits.
Not helping the situation, he's got 2 reluctant passengers.
Oh, I've got one that's down there, mate, yeah. Go on! Hey, hey, hey! Ho!
And no amount of coercing
Go on! Hey!
is getting them off.
Yeah, the couple is a little bit crooked. They'll have to get a break and go on the next boat.
It'll cost precious time, but Brenton needs to take these 2 back to the yards.
They're a bit exhausted by the time they got to the boat, so we'll take them back out here and give them a chance to recover. They'll go on another boat in a couple of weeks' time.
Meanwhile, the other trucks are still going flat out.
So this is trip number 3 for the day. There's another one to do yet.
By the time Brenton gets back to the yards, the fresh air has worked wonders.
Up and walking around, all right? The run back out here sort of recovered a bit. Right.
Next morning, and after some much-needed rest, the truckers are back into it. 6,000 cattle have been moved. 14,000 still remain. For the drivers, it feels like a never-ending job.
Once we start, we've got to keep going. You can't dawdle around. It's a big deal for everything to run smooth, to get them cattle to the port as quick as you can.
Frustrating many drivers are constant delays and changing plans. And now Brenton is having to make another change.
A couple of the guys will have to do 3 runs down to Kelly.
For 2 of his drivers, it's 2 hours more work. After yesterday's grueling day, it's the final straw.
Why don't you tell everyone else what you're doing?
Look where we are now, we got held up.
Oh, yeah.
Don't quick point the blame. There's always someone else fault, some stuff.
There, I'll drag you into that cab and wipe my ass with you.
The strain of this massive job is starting to take its toll. In Adelaide, the switch room has taken a hit.
Just drop that left side, Jen, back to where it was.
A skid rail designed to stop objects from catching on the roof has been damaged by trees. And they're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, you go left a little bit of the dinker.
They've cleared the trees. But ahead,
Bruce, keep an eye on that wire in front of him there.
power lines with 415 volts running through them.
Where's that second line?
Now that we broke the skid rail, which means we can easily snag wires, so just means it's going to be a bit slower now because we'll have to lift everything.
It's painful progress. After 5 hours, the team have come only 15 kilometres.
Probably running about 2 hours behind where we'd thought we'd be.
And now, a roundabout. Too tight to go around.
Give it a bit more to the right now. Come off a little bit on the back.
They've nearly made it through. But there's a problem. A sharp object has wreaked havoc on their tyres. With 180 tonnes weighing down on them, changing these tyres is going to take some serious grunt. In Townsville, it's the last day of a 3-day job. The biggest livestock carrier in the world has docked.
It's a big canoe, right? Very, very big ship.
She leaves port in 13 hours. But she still needs another 8,000 head. That's 40 more road trains, needing a lot of organising.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand how many cattle are going on the ships.
But all day there's been no sign of head organiser Brenton.
Why don't you tell everyone else what you're doing? I'll drag you into that cab and wipe my ass with you.
The radio argument wasn't missed by boss Liz, and there's been fallout.
Just a little bit of drama here this afternoon. I've sent Brenton home. It's been a long day for him. Also, I've taken charge.
The other driver in the argument has been fired.
It's about teamwork for us. You have to be a part of the team or you don't stay.
Losing 2 key players at this stage is a serious blow.
Certainly stuff we don't need. We've got 2 of the drivers who actually stepped up and said that they'll help us out by doing a couple of extra ones.
One of those drivers is Ross. But on the road, things aren't going well.
We should have probably passed about 5 triples by now, and I think we might have passed 1, so I'm thinking there could be a bit of a drama going on there, but we'll find out, I suppose. Yeah, we got to hold up. There's a big line up there now. Looks like we're going to have a big wait.
Liz stepped into Brenton's shoes only hours ago, and she's playing catch-up.
I've got 8 trucks lined up here at the moment, just waiting for the vet to come in from Charters Towers. Needs to be a vet here before the cattle go on to the trucks.
Every exported cow needs to be inspected by a vet. Right now, he's a no-show.
It's just a hold-up that we don't need.
5,000 cattle still need to move onto a ship which sails tomorrow morning. It's now 10 p.m. These truckers have 8 hours to load the ship. It's coming down to the wire. Fuel trucker Sludge is delivering to a new customer. He's never taken a triple road train up this driveway. The farmers are keeping a close eye. Damage anything and this might be Sludge's first and last visit. After a wrestling match with his steering wheel, he's made it to the wrong spot. He needs to reverse back 50 metres. But keeping 3 trailers under control, backwards, is one of the hardest moves in trucking.
Let's have a look. Beautiful. That's all right?
A tank full of petrol, and Sludge has a new loyal customer.
Good on ya. Catch up with you. It's been a long day. That's the joys of it. As soon as I finish this one, get my motor on out of here.
After an epic 16 hours on the pumps, Sludge has made his deliveries and kept his customers happy.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
He can finally get some rest.
Good day done.
Next day, and Sludge's run back to Perth should be a relaxed affair. But he's pushing hard. Again.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Another load. And another road. But this job's all about him.
It's time to go and have a play.
Sludge has got a new toy. For all the long hours on the road, this is his payoff. Let the good times roll.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Schmidt's massive move of 20,000 cattle has ground to a halt. The vet is running late. He needs to assess if the cows are fit for transport. Until he arrives, nothing can move. Finally, after a 3-hour delay.
Away you go.
With the cattle checked, it's a race to the finish.
We got 3 gone. This is the 4th one. Yeah, right on, mate. I'll go and get my truck. We're finally going to get loaded up.
25 road trains need to go in 6 hours. With every load, Liz can breathe a little easier. After a long night, only a few cattle remain.
Yeah, 3:30 in the morning, but that's all good.
Liz and her army of truckers have pulled it off. They've moved a staggering 20,000 cattle onto 2 ships over 3 days.
It's exhausting, I'm tired, it's time I went home to bed, but between the truck driving crew, the crews in the yards, it's an amazing feat for all of us.
The switchroom convoy has wrecked 2 tyres in the space of seconds.
Yeah, I'll fix them up just down here. We'll start to run out of spares pretty quick. We don't want that.
To change the tyres, they could try and jack up 180 tonnes But there's an easier way.
What we're going to do now is chain up the axle, lift it up and take the weight off, because naturally it's too hard to get a bottle jack under there, it's a bit heavy.
With a lift of the hydraulics, there's enough room to change the tyres.
This is part of life. All good.
Low on spares, they can't afford any more flats.
You got a grinder? Yeah, grab it. We just don't want to do any more tyres, so we'll cut this off. Thanks, mate.
The boys have reached a dirt bypass.
The goat track.
With a corner sharp enough to test any vehicle.
Yeah, we've got a couple of real nasty bits coming up here.
And it's ugly, isn't it? Doesn't even look pretty. It's virtually a 90-degree bend, which is not really user-friendly for something this size.
Well, just give it a touch to the right steering wheel.
These corners are bloody sharp and bloody annoying.
Right, kick on, we'll put them all in the dirt at the back. Starting to come off a bit, really straighten up a bit, or we're going to bottom out that back axle.
The angle on the road wants to twist the trailer in all directions. But bend just a few millimetres and the fragile components inside will break.
Just give it a touch to the right steering wheel.
You just want to keep that momentum. You don't want to get through the corner halfway and then have to stop.
A bit more to the right.
Back to the left.
After the punctures and the sharp corners, Mark is anxious to check his precious freight. If it's moved, seals could have ruptured.
So this is the gas charge.
The gauges are good. Everything's A-OK.
It looks good.
But outside, the sound of escaping air.
Oh, nearly. Quite loud. Walking past it, I heard it. Yeah. It's like the hose has just come off completely.
And blowing out the relay. See here? Yeah, so to me...
It's coming from the brake lines. Lose air and the brakes lock on. This 300-ton behemoth is grounded.